All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the shit show, guys. In front of me today are two glorious individuals, the Jordan Lung and the Ryan Owens. Ladies and gentlemen,
my claps for Jordan.
I'm just clapping for both of you and for all of us.
Thank
for that
you,
matter.
the host with the most.
Yes, thank you, sir. Thank you for being here. You're a busy guy. You're a busy guy. To get you both in the same room at the same time, they're all busy. We're all busy. But to get you both in the same room at the same time, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you for the invite.
We're here for it.
Ryan had a vitamin B overdose, so I'm just happy that he happens to be here today.
I'm trying to take care of myself. I'm cruising into 40, and I can't, take B vitamins. Good God.
Cruising into 40. So let's just be transparent. Where are you at in your age? How old are you?
37.
And Jordan?
33.
Yes.
Jordan's still going through that puberty, apparently, because his voice is cracked. So these guys, everyone talks about up-and-comers. And although they've already been here, they've already put a stronghold and a cornerstone of their community. Pay attention. Pay attention, because it's these two right here. I am of the old now. I am.
Yeah,
it's like passing of the guard. No, I'm not going anywhere, guys. I'm not going anywhere. Keep up. I'm just kidding.
Thank you, Mr. Miyagi.
So anyway, the shit show. No really agenda, right? We just come here.
I love that.
We're just talking about life. We're talking about business. Jordan and I have phenomenal conversations all the time, and there's no reason why we're not having some of them right here, right now.
Absolutely.
Might be a little bit more filtered on this one, but at the end of the day,
I'm used to that.
Let's
go.
With the poop emoji, I mean, you kind of have to
at the end of the day,
be a little unfiltered.
Someone told me, I said, dude, you can put a shit emoji on something and it's going to work. There it is.
That is
there
great.
It is.
Great marketing. I approve. I love it.
We had Justin McPadden on last week, which in theory is the first show, because I had my BFF from high school on the first unofficial show, which will never see the light of day.
Oh, no.
I heard about that.
You didn't lose the SD card like I do. I'm sure that wouldn't happen.
We asked it to be erased.
It was one of those.
It was a true shit.
It was a true shit
show.
Okay.
And it's Michael Keane. And at the end of the day,
that'll be my only curse word.
He's my my BFF from high school. And it was kind of like his first, like, hey, I'm coming into the real world, because he's been in the private sector for some time in regards to security. So his face hasn't been out there. He was a cop for 7 years and then went into the private sector, and then he still kind of works for the company. I'm like, you might lose your job if some of this stuff comes out. So let's just get rid of it.
Okay.
So anyway,
a good idea.
Let's start it off here. Jordan Lung, everyone already knows you, but let's just refresh everyone, at least on the shit show, who you are, what you do, why you do it.
Yeah, sure. Absolutely. So I'm from my parents. I came from my parents. One act of passion.
Me too.
One day in the Midwest and on a farm. I mean, there's not a whole lot to do. So back in '88, that's when I was born. Grew up on a small farm in Western Illinois. Very, very tiny place. There's more cows and hogs than there were people.
Right.
No joke for that. Grew up on about 600 acres. My grandparents' land. So we hunted, we fished, we hiked. We just lived off the land. We love to do deer hunting. We still go back every year for deer hunting. My parents still live there in the house that I grew up in. I love my former area, the place I grew up with. My family's still there. So it's just a great retreat for us. There used to be no cell phone service as of just a couple of years ago. They upgraded it. So you literally go there, you're off the grid.
Off the grid.
With all this land. So that's where I grew up. Blew my knees playing football. Got surgery on my right knee, then my left knee, kind of back to back year after year. So then my coaches were like, hey, if you keep blowing out your knees, probably shouldn't play football. Right. So they gave me two choices. You could either be the water boy, like this brought to you by 7-Eleven.
Replenish zero.
Or you could be
Jordan Boucher.
Yeah. Jordan Boucher.
Water sucks. It really, really sucks. My mama said. So they said you could either be the water boy or you could be the video guy. And, my prideful spirit said, well, being a water boy is for underclassmen. I'm definitely not going to do that. So I guess I'll be the video guy. So I fell in love with video because they gave me a camera and they said, go up and shoot the games. So that's how I fell in love with it. Yep. Went to school at Evangel University, met my wife there. I studied theology and broadcasting, and everyone's like, oh, you're the next Joel Osteen. I was like, no, I'm not going to be a televangelist. Right. Actually, if you give us $1,000, I'm going to cry on this handkerchief and give it to you.
It's better than Benny Hinn, I'd say.
Yeah. Let the bodies hit the floor. Let the bodies hit the floor.
Sorry, I was Holy Ghost.
I'll tell you, though, I've been a part of some really powerful services. We'll get into that maybe on Maybe on not this show. Maybe it's
Right.
called the Holy Ghost
Yeah,
show.
we'll change that up. We'll change.
Actually, no. I want
to
to go where people need to hear the gospel, and that's not on that kind of show. This is here,
Right.
man. This is
right.
anything goes. You know.
Exactly.
Right.
But anyways, I grew up in the area. I pastored for 4 years. Moved down to Florida. Went to seminary. Kind of skipping over a bunch of stuff, but
Yeah.
met my wife, like I said, in college. Our grandmas referred us together, connected us. Thank you, Grandma. Thank you, Linda Johnson.
That's called an
Shout out
arranged
Grandma.
marriage.
Yeah, it basically was.
Arranged by grandma too.
Right. The best referral I've ever received was introduction to Brittany. We got married our senior year of college. We're super poor, but just absolutely head over heels for each other, and just gotten better ever since. I have 3 kids.
Yep.
I own JL Video. We're a video production agency that is headquartered outside of Tampa, but we travel a lot. We travel
Everywhere.
across the country. We love the Tampa Bay area. I love small businesses. I grew up with small businesses, farming community. My dad's in insurance with crop insurance. My family's just very, very hardworking.
Yeah.
Like you just grew up.
Blessed and a blessed family.
Yeah. God's been so faithful to us, and so we give him all the credit. But yeah, I love my business. I have 9 full-time employees, anywhere between pre-production, production, post-production. We're all kind of divvied out amongst the area, but I'm trying to grow more into the face networking, these kind of podcasts, traveling, speaking, more getting people excited about content, video content, and how it can grow their business.
Yep. So, heck of a marriage, right? To have both of you here today, right? For that, Ryan,
An arranged marriage as
an
well.
arranged marriage.
Yeah.
I've been trying to set this up for a long time. Just kidding. Actually, it was Anthony Fonte who wanted me to connect with you.
Yes. Shout out for future Newport Richie mayor.
There you go,
Anthony
Fonte.
Amen.
Fonte's a good guy. Good guy.
Cheers.
And then, quite frankly, you showed up. Wait a minute. Drake Malhot just called me. He stood you up today, didn't he?
Come on.
Didn't
Let's
he?
just say he scheduled something over our golf tournament.
We should put him on blast, right?
I
Here, which
should-
we already did.
I don't. Nah, we're not gonna take it. We'll call you out. Anyway, so and then I met you at an event. I met Ryan at an event, and when I first met Ryan, reserved, quiet guy, because he was just taking it all in. Right,
I do that sometimes.
taking it all in. And then what I found out is this dude's a beast. Very talented individual, very talented online. First and foremost, to me, I understand what you do for a living, and you could talk about that. But at the end of the day, you inspire people. You inspire people to come out of their shell. I'm a true believer in that. You know, I've done that for a
Oh, I
long
love
time.
that.
But go ahead, my friend. Go ahead and tell everyone what's going on.
Hey, if I'm inspiring people, it's
Right.
from all the pain and suffering I've been through, and coming out of that, you just have to inspire people. Or
Right.
what's the point in being here?
Right.
So I grew up. I didn't have as wholesome as an upbringing. I grew up in a cult,
Right.
so that was a different thing for me. I had
And
to
you're not
find.
kidding.
I had to find
Yeah.
my way to God on my own with nobody's. Time out. You want to ask a question? Bring it on.
Were you a snake handler, or did you drink poison or have Kool-Aid or?
No, but we weren't allowed to have blood transfusions. We weren't allowed to
Okay.
have birthday parties. We were shunned from our families if we decided that this wasn't just for us anymore.
Gotcha.
We weren't allowed to hang out with people outside of our religion. So that was the beginning of my God path. And I'm so glad I had it, though, because now life is good. But yeah, the inspirational part, I'm glad you say that, because that's really what I want to do in my life. I still don't know what I want to be when I grow up.
Yeah.
Have not figured that
Me
out
neither.
yet. Yeah, okay, good. You're in good company then. I'm in good company. But yeah, I grew up in the Midwest, Ohio, and Dayton, Ohio, Cincinnati, Ohio. It's kind of a gypsy, non-military gypsy in between Dayton and Cincinnati. I made a decision. Great parents, though. My mom, very religious. Dad, all-American. Sports player, knew every stat from every baseball player from the 70s onwards, and was just that local celebrity too.
Right.
And taught me that I needed to learn how to communicate. He didn't send me to school for academics. He would have liked that. I brought home the class clown award in 5th grade. He wasn't too happy about that, but I loved it. And because I went to school to learn how to talk to people, how to communicate with my peers, how to resolve conflict. And that's what I've always been doing. Just connecting with people and talking and learning how to communicate.
Yeah.
I find it to be the most powerful thing that I've ever learned.
It is. And you do a hell of a job
Amen
at
to
it,
that.
sir.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
And like you said, sometimes I am a fly on the wall. I'm a mix of things. I come out, and when it's showtime, it's showtime.
Yeah.
And it's not like it's a put on thing. It's just that part of you is allowed to shine, and
You
there's
gotta
other
turn
parts
things
to
up.
retreat a bit.
Absolutely.
I need my Zen time.
Right.
I need my.
I mean, if we just sat here and had, hey, Jordan, hey, Ryan, normal conversations, no one's going to watch it.
No,
So
no.
they want to watch engaging people. They want to have people that have conversation, open conversation, real conversation. And at the end of the day, like, Jordan, I know you heard us a million times, like, are we just putting on a show? There's a little bit of both to all of it. I mean, that's just the way it is. And if
absolutely
we did not come out of our shells, then you wouldn't come out of your shells, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and that's the great thing about video production is we can display our greatest selves. It's not that we're putting on a show; it's that we're amplifying what we are internally at that moment. We're just raising up the energy for it's showtime.
Right.
It is show business. Every time that those cameras come on, it is show business. It's time to light up.
Yep.
But you know, I deal with things. I have anxiety. I have things that are going on in my life. I have disputes with the wife at home from time to time. I deal with traffic in Tampa. I have all these other things. But when it's time to go, it's time to go. And one thing I want to say about my story is when I did make the decision to move to Florida, I just was at a point where I was getting kind of wondering where my life was going, didn't have a relationship at that time, and was just kind of getting out of sales for a while, taking a break, helping my friends start up their first brewery in Dayton, Ohio in 52 years. I was like, where's my life going? Like, what are we doing? I got to serve Dave Chappelle. That was fun. Made him laugh once. Made him laugh about a joke about Ludacris and Mustard getting out of a DUI somehow. He called me funny. Probably the greatest thing ever happened in my life.
Cool.
I made Dave Chappelle laugh. But that was,
that's awesome.
I can't do nothing else here. You gotta go.
He's peaked, ladies and gentlemen. He's peaked.
I peaked. I sold everything I had, just packed 4 bags and took a Allegiant flight down here to St. Pete to move into one of my friends' longtime early childhood friends. Didn't know anybody. And I knew it was the right place to be. I actually, from that point forward, sent a video down to Grant Cardone to be on his show, Whatever It Takes, season 2.
Right.
Something God was calling me to stay in Tampa, where it's where I found my wife, have 2 beautiful children now. And it was all because of knowing that I had to get outside of my comfort zone. It's one of the greatest things I can tell people. If you're not where you need to be and you feel a calling to go, especially if you're in a younger age, late 20s, early 30s, whatever, you might just need to go. Great things happen from getting outside of your comfort zone. Thank you, Jim Rohn, for getting that in my head.
Yeah.
Good author.
Because I did it. Yeah. What a man. What a man. And communication as well. If these people didn't step in front of the cameras and communicate, and we didn't have YouTube, I wouldn't have had some of my greatest mentors and you know, in my life. So,
and think about that. And Jordan, I want you to touch on this as well. Like, guys, when I go through my phone now, and it might be the algorithm because it's certain things that I look at, but literally when I just swipe my phone, all I see is inspirational speaker, which is also sad at the same time because they know that's what we want to hear. Because are we always in that down place? Would you say the majority of society just has a mindset issue? Let's start with you.
Well, I think the mindset, there's different mindsets that we could talk about. I mean, one of them is, as entrepreneurs, we need to be able to share stories. We need to be able to talk about how we're passionate about what we do and how we're changing lives. You know, my sales pitches and the way I teach my sales team, it's not so much, hey, thanks so much for meeting with me. How much do you want to spend? Package A, B, or C? I want to know their story. I want to know why they do what they do, what gets them up every single day. And you have to change your mindset as a business owner to be able to share your story, to get people inspired, because people want to know the stories and they want to believe in people that believe what they believe. So if you share that, that changes the mindset of, as entrepreneurs, we have to be storytellers. And so my sales pitches is more or less, hey, where do you want to go? Why do you do what you do? And then let me share with you how I changed the life of this person. And then what I do is I know, okay, what your industry is. Say it's I don't know, title, or maybe it's real estate, or it's investing. You know, in that realm, we could talk about one of the success stories that we had with the client that fit in with their industry. So that way it feels a little bit more tailored. Just yesterday, I meet with a guy. He has a really successful personal injury law firm in this area. And I'm meeting with Justin McPadden, and we're talking about where he wants to go, and he wants to do different kind of videos. But then I share, like, what is your goals though? You know, how do you want to grow your business? And then once he tells me that, I said, listen, time out. Instead of, yes, let's do some funny lawyer videos. Let's also share your story of why you do what you do. And then that just really changed his mindset of, okay, yes, I need to be sharing this, because when people hear, I want to fight for you, I always want to go up against the big guy for the small one, and seek a large settlement because I want justice for everybody. That kind of stuff makes a big difference. So my biggest advice to entrepreneurs, to business professionals, is share your story and share how you're changing other people's lives.
Especially with attorneys. Now you know that Kemp, Rouge and Green, I grew up with the Kemps, Brandon Kemp, Stacey Kemp, and so forth. Like, I've always had this conversation with them, like, you're an attorney, and a lot of attorneys they have that bad they have that bad reputation, like they're slime balls and this or that. How do you humanize
Oh yeah.
an attorney?
I mean, we just did a video for our own content. For us, we do a lot of content that's educational based, not so much selling. We share some ideas and behind the scenes and stuff,
Right.
but a lot of it's education based. We did one video called "Why Attorney Videos These Days Suck."
Yeah, I love that one.
And so we start the video off by saying, "Hi, I'm John Smith, and
Right.
I've sued 900 people, and I have 300 years experience in all this settlement." It doesn't touch people's lives. Attorneys have to share stories.
There are people,
They have
I mean,
to educate too.
you got to show people you can win as an attorney, right? I'm going to win for you. I'm going to go to battle for you. I understand that. But at the end of the day, they all say that. They all have that same freaking message. I want to see
Yes,
the
they
true,
do.
real side of an attorney. Listen, we know you make money. We get it, right? Like it's no secret. Humanize yourself, show your life, showcase your life. Don't exploit it, but showcase your life.
I got one final story
Go.
I'll share about this.
I love it.
So we had a guy, I'm going to call him Joe
Okay.
because it's a small community.
Understood.
Joe is a landscaper.
Mhm.
So he calls us just recently and he goes, "Hey, I want a commercial." So my first question is, wonderful. Why? What are your goals with this video?
Mhm.
And then he goes, "Yeah, I just want more people to know about my services and what I do." Awesome. So Joe, could you tell me what makes you different and why you got into landscaping?
Right.
He could not tell me. All he says is, "Well, I've always been doing it. I've got great services, great prices, and my guys do a nice job."
All right. Like everyone else.
So then I said, "Thank you so much. Why do you
Standard.
do what you do? What's your story?"
Yeah.
He couldn't get a story out to me. So then I said, "All right, close your eyes. Think about how you first cut grass. What happened?" And so he thinks about it for a bit, which is crazy.
Mm.
And he goes, "Well, I mean, back in the day, I cut my grandma's grass for the very first time. My grandma gave me a lawnmower and I cut all these beautiful OCD lines back and forth. I smelled the
There
smell
it
of
is.
gas. I saw the beautiful work that I did. And after I cut my grandma's grass, guess what she gave me? $5. And at that moment, I knew I wanted to cut grass. And so now what I want for all my customers is for their yards to look like grandma's."
I
There
love
it
that.
is.
And I
There's
was
the
like,
story.
"Dude, there's your story. There's your why." I said, "Because guess what, Joe? There's 500 other landscape companies all around this area that do exactly what you do. They show up, they cut grass, they weed eat, they pull weeds, they spray a little bit, and then they're out in 5-10 minutes or so." I said, "But when people buy your services, they're going to buy your services because they want their yard to look like grandma."
Mhm.
And that's your why story. That's your brand story video. So you have to change your mindset as a business owner to communicate your why and communicate your story so that you're different and that you make an emotional connection with your audience.
And I think that's one of the most important things that you do. Other than great video production, you get people back to being present and aware of why they started, why they're
Right.
doing what they're doing. And you pull that out of people as part of that production, which I think is one of the things they're not actually paying for on any of those line items. But I think it's one of the most important things that you
Absolutely.
do for business owners.
Psychology. You're pulling
Yeah.
emotions out of people.
And I would say as a follow-up, anyone that wants to read Simon Sinek's book, Start With Why, Change My Life, Change My Business.
Simon's amazing.
Because he says I think he calls it the golden circle. If that's what it is. You start with why in the middle, then you move to what, and then you move to the who or the how, if you will. Because a lot of times we communicate in the Western world as, "My name's Jordan Lung. I own JL Video. I've got lots of years experience. You can do brand story videos. Give us a call today. We've helped out a lot of people. Hopefully we can help you too." But if you change the script and you start with why, I believe every brand has a story to tell, and your story is valuable. We exist
Absolutely.
to tell stories for their brands to connect them to their audiences. I happen to do that through brand story videos, client testimonials for businesses all across the area. Give us a call so we can consult with you to see how we can tell your story today. That changes the whole mix. With you, you help businesses grow.
yeah.
And you've been in that mindset. You help people get out of their shells. You help them gain confidence in themselves.
Mhm.
You happen to do that through consulting, marketing, coaching, and video side. I mean, that's really our why is so valuable.
Yeah. Yeah. It's always been, even on the small scale that I do with consulting and being in the real estate field and using video marketing and those expertise as a kind of value add to bring business into my business
Right.
by exchanging, having that level of exchange there. It's all about the foundation of getting people to understand that they're worthy of a great business and to get them out of their shells and understand their why and to know that this isn't just this business is to fuel the life that we want to live, and we've got to know our why. Because you were mentioning how all these motivational speakers are online. You know why? Because there is a pandemic of apathy in the world, and I don't care if you're faking anymore. I used to be like, this guy's faking, he's not positive. I used to judge people all the time. I don't care. Fake the positivity. We need it. I don't care if you're a shithead on the shit show. You need to be putting out positivity because we're in a pandemic, a worldwide pandemic of apathy that isn't going anywhere soon. So the best thing you can sell online right now, folks, is encouragement.
It's true.
That is your number one sale.
It's true. I will also say you just I added some value to the show. We're going to call all of our listeners shitheads.
I like it. That's a term of endearment.
I love it.
I want it.
I want to see the shirts already.
Yeah, the shitheads. I'm a true shithead. Anyway,
I will rock that.
I'll rock the hell out of it.
Proudly.
You said something though. You said you do it on a small scale. I don't believe that. I believe what you're doing is a very large scale. I believe every time. Listen. Here's some real hard truth, folks.
Boy.
Like, people gravitate to positivity. People gravitate to something that they see, they want to see in themselves. That's why people love this guy. That's why people love you, bro.
So I love that guy.
And just be transparent. Like how many people have literally solicited you? And just be frank, like in the past, let's say 6 months.
It's been happening more than I've ever experienced.
Guilty
for sure.
But
yes,
but why? Because you took yourself out of a boundary and you said, I'm going to put myself here. You put yourself on this level. You did it with transparency. You did it with just motivation and love, and you just like, this is who I am, this is what I want to do, and people gravitated towards that, and that's why you've been solicited. Like I feel like it's probably it's almost obsessive. Because I know people that have reached out to you, and then I also seen the manipulate. Like I could see the manipulation, who likes what, who's doing what, who's saying what, just to get you like, because you're needed. It's nice to feel needed.
It is,
but you're going to make that decision of what you're going to really do when you grow up, like you said.
Yeah, sure. Sure. I'll figure that out soon. But I think it goes back to what my dad taught me, to learn how to be able to communicate and to be a bit of a rebel and to step outside of being small like everyone else is, being normal like everyone else is. Everyone I'm around is normal. Nobody knows how to express themselves and communicate or promote or is afraid to promote their business. It's the weirdest thing I ever come. People are afraid to promote their business, afraid to tell people a call to action. Use me. I'm the greatest. Yeah, that's okay to say. You can be the greatest. It is all right. All the rappers think they're your lawn care company don't have to be a rapper to put that out there. Promote.
It boggles my mind. I want to hear your take on it too, Jordan. Like here I am, and people pay for my services, and a lot of it's like guidance and getting people in the right direction, and then showing them along the way. A lot of it's business 101 as well. Like, hey, this is who you need to talk to. This is what you need to do to be successful. Why do I have to? Why, as you're a business owner, why do I have to tell you to get excited about your business? Like, this is your livelihood. This is how you feed your families. This is why you have a roof over your head. If you're not excited to get up in the morning and wake up and shout to the masses, this is what I do for a living, you have a problem. And like you said, it goes back to a mindset.
I think the very first thing that stood out to me as you're saying that is, I think a lot of business owners are run down to a degree. I think here's the biggest difference. Too many business owners are working in their business and they're not working on the business.
Preach it, brother.
The kind of, I'm a very visual guy. And so naturally, and so the way in which I see this, anytime someone's always said in the business, not on the business, I always see them as, if you ever seen World War I or World War II trenches, the guys running through the trench warfare, they cannot pop their head up. They're going to get sniped, headshot. They're done. But the generals are the ones flying over it. They're the ones seeing the whole battlefield. We need more business owners that are working on their business, not in the business, because what happens is they get worn down. They don't feel like they have the support. They feel like, listen, I'm just so stuck in this, and that they don't have, it sucks the life out of them. So then the energy to give the passion to share with that, or to carve out the time that they should be on the important things. Their employees aren't doing this stuff. They need to stop working as an employee and start working as an owner. They have to shift themselves and grow and scale their business. I mean, listen, I started my video production company out of a freaking 2005 Honda Civic.
Hot.
hot. 2-door Honda Civic.
Yes.
You know, I packed up all my gear. I would shove it inside that little trunk and I would take it to business to business. When I learned to work on my business, not in it, doesn't mean it happens every single time, every single day. I still have things that I'm working in it, but I work on it. And I'm able to, as a general, make chess piece moves to see the whole map, if you will. And I'm able to take those steps and share my passion to do things like this. We need business owners to work on their business, not in their business.
And something that came right up when you were saying that is also business owners as generals need to empower their employees or their boots on the ground to be able to make decisions. I find so many business owners that are overwhelmed because their staff is not empowered to make decisions, know where the company's going, know where the channels are, know who does what needs to stay with me and what doesn't need to get to the owner. Owners are bogged down right now because they're not empowering the soldiers to make great decisions in the field, and they have to continually bogging down the owners. That might be another reason why they are feeling a little bit of the pressure too. We've got to empower our employees, and there's a lot of ways to do that.
I'm going to segue. Very similar topic though. So in a private group, we were having a discussion, and I'm always the hard-headed guy in the group because at the end of the day, you know, you grew up in a generation, like you make an agreement, right? Like, hey, employee, this is what we're signing a contract. This is what you're getting paid for. This is what I expect you to do. I don't know if you've seen this lately, but Gary Vee has put out a video where he's like, these owners expect these employees to work just as hard, as the owner does, but they don't get paid as much. Well, this is where I beg to differ on that, right? Because at the end of the day, if I bring an employee, right? So have a company, right? Bring in an employee. I'm going to teach that employee, like, listen, this isn't going to be long-term for you. I'm going to teach you every step to take it. Maybe one day you want to go off and do this on your own. But at the end of the day, I expect this out of you. You set the expectation. Am I wrong on this? Because I'm getting flack. I'm literally getting flack. Like, no, you know, we have to treat your employees with respect. I never said don't treat your employee with respect, and nor did I ever say, you know, don't take care of your employee. But there is a certain expectation. If you're getting paid to do this, I expect you to work your ass off.
Right. So, story about that.
Either one.
I just hired an incredible guy. His name is Neil Galarte. Big shout out to Neil.
Okay.
He's had almost 30 years experience. So I've hired a few veterans, if you will, instead of some newbies here.
Right.
There's some balance and some grace with both, some favor with both. But Neil is an incredible guy. And one of the first things that he said, last week was his very first week. One of the things that he said is he goes, when I walk into every single one of your rooms, Jordan, everyone is working their butt off. They're grinding. And it's because of the speed of the leader. You know, the background that my parents gave me on a farm, my God, is, and just not to say only the farm, but my dad was in insurance, and I saw him work 3 jobs to keep my mom and my siblings at home. He laid carpet at night and the weekends. He sold insurance, and he had another side hustle that he did as well. And he did 2 jobs. And I didn't really see my dad a whole lot until I was about 8.
Oh, wow.
But like, I don't feel like I'm not one of those kids that I'm like, oh, I got daddy issues. I love my dad to death.
I was let down. He was working too much.
I saw that. And I still remember as an 8-year-old kid, my brother, who's 2 years younger, we went to church on Wednesday night, Sunday morning, Sunday night, Wednesday night. And someone said, where's your dad on Wednesday night church? And my brother, he goes, my dad's being lazy. He's not here.
No.
And I started crying as an 8-year-old kid because I saw the sacrifice my dad made. And I said, no, Jared, Daddy's working hard for us so we can be at church. And so I think a lot of it is just the way in which you grow up, and the people will see the leader. If they see the leader hustling, and Neil, again, he said, how in the world are you working like this with your schedule? And I don't like to use the word I'm busy. I'm just well scheduled because I choose what's on my calendar. My calendar does not dictate to me what's important. I tell my calendar what, because I'm the one pushing those buttons and adding those calendar invites and all this stuff. I'm choosing, is it 60 minutes? Is it 30 minutes? I'm putting my travel time in there. That's value to me. That's important to me. I'm well scheduled. And that's a big line from Pastor Clayton Bell from Trinity New Life Church. I loved how he said that. Because that really helped me understand, because people would say, you're busy. I'm choosing to be well scheduled. I'm choosing to hustle. And that's 2 things that Neil said. Our team works so hard, but it's all about the speed of the leader. Speed. Yes. You need to expect your employees to hustle. You have to have them abide by your core values. That's why you're hiring them. But yeah, if I'm really big on maximizing time, you have to maximize time. You have to push your staff to think a certain way. When our team is exporting videos, guess what? Takes a lot of time. It's basically you edit everything and then you stick the cake in the oven and bake
Mundane.
it.
That's the mundane part.
Render.
Right.
Right. And then after 15, 20, 30 minutes, however long it takes, bing,
Yeah.
beautiful cake, your video pops out of the
Right.
oven. So instead of sitting there for 15 minutes, we train them. If you're going to export, batch export right before lunchtime, batch export right at the end of the day so that you're not sitting there picking your nose and we're maximizing the time most efficiently. So if the leader can see those things and just know efficiency is equivalent in so many ways to profitability, then they're going to be more on fire.
Everything rises and falls with leadership. I learned that from John Maxwell.
Amen.
And when we talk about clear expectations, I also got to bring this up too, because I want to make sure that as a leader out there and a business owner, some people think that they have set clear expectations to their entire employees, but you have not. Actually, you have underperformed in that aspect a lot. And I want to slap you in the face with it a little bit, because if you, maybe it's time for a refresher on what your core values are.
Right.
We don't just do that at Hire. We need to do that regularly. These are our values. I want to make sure, I want to check in and make sure everyone is continuing to hold these values top of mind,
right,
and expressing themselves in this business through that. But the leaders have got to make sure proper and clear expectations have been made. I see a lot of times they think that it's been done, but the people don't know.
Right.
We got to bring that back up. We got to refresh.
I will say, as a leader, anyone that's a leader, learn from my mistakes. And that's a big part of my teachings, right? Especially within my company, is always learn from my mistakes. And I've been a guy that's been around the block. And I tell this to Jordan a lot, 10 years, Jordan, 10 years to my younger. And I always would say, passive aggressive will kill you. Right. And I was that guy. Like, I did not want to rock the boat. I just like, all right, well, it will go away. And it will kill you. It will destroy you. It can destroy your company. It will destroy your business. I don't care what you're in, if you're in real estate, insurance, or whatever. Even if you're not a business owner, you're just in business every day. Do not be passive aggressive and have the expectation, nip things in the butt right away. And that's all I got to say about that.
Oh, and by the way, I want to call myself out right now, right to the camera. I'm not a business owner. These two are business owners, but I will tell you, I am a fantastic number two. And I have been watching business owners make mistakes for 20 plus years. I see, I'm a supreme student of business owners and leaders, and people like John Maxwell and the Jim Rohn. Like, I studied these guys who also counsel leaders. So anything I say is not coming from a business owner perspective. So feel free to remind me of that. But I'm a keen observer of leadership. And this is where I come from with my commentary.
I just felt like Austin Powers. Who does number two work for? I'm sorry. I was like, I had to with the show. I mean, come on.
Number two right here.
I do want to, I'm going to say something. I'm
For
going to
now.
do props really quick. You talked about putting it in an oven, right? Well, to me, the oven that you're putting it in is a Viking oven. Like, it's the top of the line.
Nice. I want one of those.
$50,000, $60,000 oven. And there's a lot of people out there that put that put content out there, and they put their shit in an easy bake oven, buddy. And that's not you. So anything that comes out of JL Video is coming out of a Viking range, bro.
you.
I just want to say that really quick.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
We might use that. I just want to say we could use that analogy. You created it. I just came up with it in my mind. But seriously, dude, you great quality. And I also want to touch on this. Like, you need those type great qualities in your business. You need those quality videos. And then as simple as Ryan, when Ryan comes and does his selfie production, I am a true advocate of that as well. I love when Ryan does a selfie production, although your selfie production is quite good, right? Because you have the green screen in the back. I see what you do. You have the
great
microphone.
lighting.
I love your studio.
Yeah.
I've stalked your Facebook when you
Sure,
post
yeah.
videos. But seriously, like, how you bring in your intros and your graphics and so forth and excitement. But at the end of the day, guys, I want to say this. Video's not going anywhere, right? We both can attest to this. It might be a different platform. Social media might change. It might not be Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, or whatever the heck we got going on these days, but there'll always be video. And you have to be charismatic. You have to get out of your shell. I highly encourage, and I want your take on both of this. If you're a guy that can't get out of your shell, get into Toastmasters, get into acting classes that you can take locally in thespian groups. Like, get into that. What's your thought on that?
Right, absolutely.
My thought, can I say, because my thought's extremely morbid, and I'd like to lead with it.
Go ahead.
You're going to die. I'd like for a long pause after that, too.
Go ahead.
You're going to die.
Right.
And I want you, while you're living, to actually live. I want you to know whatever your business in right now, you, God, I don't care what your beliefs are, you're where you need to be right now. Stop playing small. That's all you're doing. You're hiding until you die. Why don't we just come? We're going to die. That should be, and I say that not to be morbid, but it should be extreme motivation that if someone doesn't like us, those aren't our business. Those aren't our clientele. We need to make sure we push quite a few people away so that we can attract all of the right people. And the consumer base uses advertisement as a heuristic for who they're going to trust. It's always been that way. That's why the big advertisers will spend millions of dollars for just seconds of your time. First of all, TV puts you in a theta wave state. So you're kind of absorbing hypnosis, whatever is going on. But people, when you show up with your business, people trust you. Without you showing up, not just once, but on a consistent basis, then you are a trusted resource for whatever it is that you're doing. If you're not showing up, we don't trust you and you're going to die. So get to it.
Absolutely. Well, to your point, we're working with a family law attorney.
Yeah.
Her name is Chantel. Big shout out to Chantel, one of our clients. Okay. She said she has this brand called Dadvocacy, and it helps out dads that are going through divorces. It's a great practice. She's had a great run. She's, I think, 50 years old or so. So she's had a couple decades of experience. And it's so interesting. She said, you know what, Jordan, I'm doing video because I realized that I got to get out of my shell. And the last 20 years where I never had to do videos, never really show my face, it can't work now. And so big props to her, but people are seeing that you have to step out. You have to do that stuff because that whole line of the professionalism line in the sand where you don't show your personality, you don't show your family, or you don't show your background, or you don't show your character, that's gone, man. Yeah. Like it's zigzagging back and forth. It's a blend together. Yeah. The way you are personally also affects the way in which you are professionally. It has to be married together. It doesn't mean that all my advertising is with my kids, which when I use my wife and kids, interestingly enough, my analytics always go up higher. Right. So of course I want them to have some face time in the business. But all to say, you do have to be visible. And there's a few people that really stand out to me. I mean, one of them is Lindsay Weber. Lindsay Weber, man, big props to her. She is not an extroverted person.
No.
She loves to stay.
She's not.
No, she loves to kind of help coach one-on-one. She's great with training. She likes to build a team. She likes to encourage. Right. She's very nurturing. You get her in this kind of setting, it's not her natural state. But guess what? She's an individual that's going against the grain of her personality, and she's stepping up and she's making content. Yep. We've created lots of videos with her. We've done community videos together. The Community United project we did last year. We did the Pasco One project. I mean, it's just a great testament of when you do that, guess what's happened to her? I'm not saying it's all because of videos, her growth. That's not what I'm saying. Right. But I would say it's a big part of it. It helps. Yeah. It helps push the wave, if you will, that you're surfing on forward with video. It got her out of her shell. And guess what? Now her and her husband are attracting people inside of their
She's
their
the
firm.
Leader, right? The owner of her company along with her husband. At the end of the day, here she is preaching video content to her staff, like, you better do this. And then she wasn't, right? At the end of the day, she recognized that. Right. Now she's doing it and leading the way, and she's going to continue to do that. And you can see it too. I can see her staff members following suit because the leader, like, as you say, it's the most important.
Right? Yeah. And I want to give some encouragement to the extroverts out there, or the introverts out there. Yeah. So not that you're wanting to be a billionaire. I don't want to be a billionaire. Too much responsibility. I'll take I wouldn't mind. 10, 20 million will do me just fine. 10, 20 million. So, but with introverts, 98% of all billionaires are introverts. There's not many super successful extroverts out there. And I got to tell you, people are sick of people like me being so extroverted and energetic. It makes you want to puke sometimes, doesn't it? Here's the thing. Extroverts, get out there, because there are tens of thousands of extroverts in your marketplace that are just waiting for an obvious extrovert to show up on camera, put themselves out there, display their business, and do it anyway. Because everyone's expecting the extrovert to get on camera, the charismatic, that's easy. And there's lots of those. The extroverts, you got to come out in full force right now.
Absolutely.
There's so many out there wanting to.
And I'm an extrovert, and I love the extrovert energy here. I still have, you probably don't know this, I still have like 3 or 4 of your voicemails saved because I listen to them with my dad, my grandparents. The last voicemail my grandma ever left me, I have like probably 15 to 20 voicemails. I still have, total side note, this guy named Christian Moreno, one of the very first guys that I did street ministry, street evangelism to through seminary. And I witnessed to him. I shared Christ with him, and he accepted the gospel right there.
Nice.
I still have his voicemail just to remind me, to keep me fresh of why I exist. It's not, it's to tell stories professionally, but man, I'm telling the story, the one that changed my life and changes everyone else's life. And that's a story how God came and became human and died for our sins.
Yeah.
But ultimately, I've got all these voicemails. But some of your voicemails, I mean, you'll call me up. You're just like, yo, Jordan, woohoo! I'm getting Dunkin' Donuts. You know, I'm an extrovert, and like I love even I'm extrovert. I love that extra push, man. It's like it's like NOS for your soul, man.
I need to hear it. I don't have, like, there's only certain people in your life that have that, right? Or can do that for you. And I've said this before. I got to a point in my life where I was emotional every time I brought it up, but now my dad was a hell of a teacher, right? And my dad was my cheerleader. And I want to touch on that. You told me just now that you had a great father, right?
Yeah.
You had a great father. I had a great father. I want you like pay attention, folks. Like, it's so important to have that right guidance, right? And we were blessed, guys. We have a very blessed story that we had a parent to guide us in the right direction and to be a leader and to be a man. That's not so much for the majority of society. And that's why I truly believe people like us, the people that had that correct guidance, should be passing on that knowledge to the next generation. And that's why I truly believe in collaboration. Like, people are like, what's this dude's gimmick? What's this dude's, what's he doing? There's no gimmick. There's no nothing. It's helping out the next generation, building the next community of leaders. If our community wins, we all win. If we all win, our community wins. And to me, to give the hub a little shout out, I think we've changed a lot of the community and the mindset about collaboration versus, competitiveness.
Competition.
Yeah. Because it's collaboration is where it's at. I just want to see other people win. And like I said in the very beginning, it doesn't matter. I said this morning on the Morning Mojo with Justin McPadden, I can give you the exact recipe of my success. Jordan, you can give me everything you do. Give me every lighting, every awesome Viking computer, right, that you have, your oven, all that stuff, your lighting, this, that, and other. You as well. You can take me into your studio, show this. It doesn't matter. I can't be you. I certainly can't be you. And sure as shit, you guys can't be me. People buy people. And
yes.
People connect with people at the end of the day. So get out of your shell. That's my thought.
Haven't you all noticed yet when you're going online, everyone's given the keys to the kingdom. They're given every secret they've ever had.
Never happened before.
But
ever.
The reason is because exactly what you say. Everyone is hyper aware. Nobody's gonna do any of this, and the ones who are going to call me and have me do it for them. There is nobody's going to do any of this. That's why I'm going to give out content. That I'm going to tell you everything that usually I would keep secret. Years ago, 15, 20 years ago, I would have never told you because I thought I didn't have an abundant mindset. But now we know that. That's why everyone's giving everything away for free, because nobody's going to take it. Nobody can do it like you can do it. They're going to call you.
Exactly.
We go to meetings, right? We hold on seminars and so forth or whatever. And the first thing I say is, who's got a pen or their phone ready to write stuff down? No one's ready. If you're not writing stuff down, if you're not taking notes, you're never going to implement anything that we give out.
I know it's a little aggressive, but I've been to like in front of classes. I've done this once. I told everyone to leave except for 10% of you, because there's only a chance of 10% of you even thinking about using any of this.
That's awesome.
The rest of you are dismissed. You don't have to leave for an hour. Don't let your boss keep you hostage. You're not going to do anything.
We used to say in youth group, the note takers are world changers.
Yeah, that's true.
That's
you
awesome.
see somebody taking notes, they're ready. They're wanting to implement.
Yes.
But it's okay. So let's say now we have that introvert, takes all the notes, has the recipe to success, right? Like has done everything possible, but that turns on and it's just, they shut down. How do we fix that?
I mean, the easiest thing for me is when you're first starting out with video content and you're nervous about looking at yourself on camera, do an off-camera interview and have someone ask you questions.
That's
so for instance,
great way.
This is off camera.
Right.
I'm not looking at the camera. I'm looking at you.
Right.
If I want to look at the cameras, I'm looking directly at the cameras. Right. But I'm looking right at you. So if you can do a slug of batch content where people just ask you questions. And so then you respond to them in 30, 60 second long snippets to where that can be pulled out for long form, short form, story videos, reels, TikToks. You can do so much. I mean, my gosh, we have so many clients now that they want the vertical videos. And so then they're going to put them online, which you've done such a great job at. And then you have these filters that we used to charge hundreds of dollars for because you had to manually transcribe and manually type out the words at the freaking bottom of this stuff. Now, we still have to do that we just did 2 different documentaries. One documentary for Pasco Hernando State College. And we have to actually write out the transcriptions that they're at the bottom. But a lot of these apps, I mean, it's incredible what TikTok can do. And Justin McPadden from our company, he's very, very proficient with that stuff. I love seeing yours. And
Justin's great.
Yours like has emojis that's built into a lot of it too, where it can pick out your words. I mean, it's really fascinating how that all
And
works.
people, I want to let you know, I'm thinking your children when you're watching because you guys have the attention spans of a goldfish. It's the only reason I do that. I don't want to put any emojis on there, but you children out there from 0 to 75 are children. You need that stimulus,
Yes,
or you can't follow along.
Huge little
can't.
shout out to. So a couple weeks ago, I spoke at the Digital Summit in Atlanta, and I interviewed the guy from TikTok afterwards. And the biggest thing, him and then the other lady I interviewed from Salesforce, they all talked about emojis, and they said they had a whole list of emails inside your inbox.
Yep.
And they scrolled through about 50 of them, and without anything, they just said, which one stands out to you guys?
Emojis.
And they all stood up and
100%.
shouted like the one with the emojis. And so now we've been implementing for a few months now. We've been implementing in MailChimp campaigns emojis.
Nice.
So it's got the microphone, it's got a person, it's got the brain, it's got a video camera, like whatever we're talking about, the money, and then even the from. That's the part that I didn't really think about. They said the subject line, you need to have emojis for your email campaigns that you're doing with video.
100%.
But also the from needs to have an emoji as well. Like for us, it could be a video camera. Because then when you're scrolling through that, that's insanely important for them to actually click on it.
So attention spans are nil. We're all goldfish.
Of course.
2 seconds.
What I know we got the 2 seconds,
is
but
ridiculous.
now what's the max you're going now? Now different videos, I get it. But what's the max you're going on Insta? What's your max seconds video?
Well, I'm going for 90 seconds because that's what Instagram's
What
allowing
allows.
right now as far as that goes. Now, TikTok, you can upload not natively in the app, or you can upload it in the app. You can't use the app to record because only you can record 3 minutes.
Right.
But you can upload up to 10 minutes because they're trying to compete with YouTube because, there is definitely value in long form content, but you have to be bringing great
Engaging.
content.
Right.
And you got to keep the emojis popping up and the jump cuts and all of that. Just because even if it's great content, we're so overstimulated. We want to keep scrolling. You're great. Love your content, but I'm on to the next thing. And it might not even be as valuable, but I need to scroll. I got to scroll.
It's so true.
It's
so scary. And it's so scary because I was so like, all right.
So have another video for them to
Right.
scroll on to.
There was a point in my life where I was like, I'm only going to put out content, number one value, no matter what. But at the end of the day, I'm like, holy crap, I recognize this as an almost addictive habit where I just need to go to that next one. What's next? And then I catch myself going, well, wait a minute. I was actually I was watching that.
I know.
And I would go back to the video I'm in. But at the end of the day, the more content, the better. There was a time where I wouldn't do that. And I want your opinions on it. I still could be wrong. I was like, well, I'm only putting this one on because I know it's going to be badass and everyone's going to watch it. Everyone's like, what's that dude doing next? I can't wait for that video when he's coming next. Now I'm like, well, shit, I need to get as much as possible.
So
am I wrong?
I'd like to talk about an ROI standpoint. If
Okay.
you look at
Please
think of
do.
video content as an investment. So what makes more sense? Putting all your eggs in one basket or diversifying? We all talk about diversification.
Diversifying.
Think about video content as diversification. You're gonna have, and I usually use this analogy from like a biblical perspective. Do you want one Goliath or do you want a lot of Davids running around with an army? Think of video as an army, if you will. You're having all these different opportunities or ROI standpoint to attack the competition or go after, pierce that market value, pierce the market share, if you will. So if you have more video content, you're diversifying your message in so many different avenues. You will be seen. You'll be omnipresent. That's one way in which you can be so many places. And guess what? The videos last forever, unless they're stories, but they last forever. So you're making investments with content. And guess what? Yes, it's going to last forever. And with us, with education, the videos that I did a few years ago about how long should videos last, where I was talking about 2 minutes. Well, you're not doing 2-minute long videos anymore. You're doing some long form, which does make sense. Absolutely. But you're doing so many small snippet videos because just to keep people engaged. And like
absolutely
this kind of content, we're doing a podcast. Someone that wants to do a podcast, you can, there's so many one-liners that we could pull from this that are like 15 seconds long. You put the text at the bottom. Now, this is a perfect example. You're not stuck with this 30, 45 minute long presentation podcast. You have 15 assets from this. You diversify and guess what? One video, it doesn't make it more important than the other one. It's still a video.
Yes.
It still lasts. It still uploads. It still goes through the same process. The only difference is it's shorter and less megabytes.
All right. We got a few minutes left and we're going to wrap this up. So Ryan, go ahead and I know you're about to say something. Go ahead and say it.
Well, what was I going to say?
I don't know. You're going to say something. I said you were ready.
I was so drawn in by Jordan.
You were shifting and ready to go.
I know. What was I going to say? Oh, take advantage of all the real estate too. And I say this in real estate, but the real estate, you need to have 9x16 tall content.
Right.
When you have your little short stuff and you put it into Instagram and TikTok and whatnot, especially with Instagram, you need all the real estate. You need that whole screen to be filled up. So you know what, put the right format on there too. I just was thinking, when I'm scrolling, if you have the whole phone filled up, it's much easier to stay there and get engaged with that. Sure. So make sure you got a full screen.
And continue to entertain.
That was just a side note I just came up with on the blue.
That's great.
And continue to entertain. And I will say this, and really quick, I want to, we could end it, but at the end of the day, it's a warning. It's a bow shot, and it's the business owners. I've said it a million times, guys. I put it in my book, shameless plug. Stop posting political on your business stuff. Stop posting political on your page. No one cares about your views. If you are a business owner, it is a trap. If you are a business owner, they only care about what you can do for them. They only care what you can do for them. End of story. They don't care about your views. They don't care what politician you like or whatever. Don't get me wrong. Listen, politics is important, right? Who runs our country or who runs our community or who runs our county commission is very important. Talk about that in that moment. But if you're that person, that guy or gal that ruminates every day about politics, you are losing your audience. You are losing your clients.
Instantly. And every side of each aisle is compartmentalized now too. So you're in trouble. Just don't do it.
Just don't do it.
Lord, who got you doing that?
So you mean we shouldn't say Trump train still?
Listen, we're full of shitheads here, so either which way, it doesn't matter.
I don't know. I don't care anymore. I almost did it. I'm sorry.
I don't care.
It doesn't bother me. I'm not gonna say it.
It doesn't bother me.
I'm not gonna say it.
All right, listen. So I will say this, guys. We had an hour, and it went by like this.
That was an hour?
That was an hour, right? It was an hour. And at the end of the day, I know we can speak here for a long time. I'm grateful for both of you. I'm grateful for the relationships. Brother, I love you. You're a brother. Ryan, I'm still learning Ryan. I'm still meeting Ryan. I love this dude. And I'm a big fan and always going to be supportive of you.
Ditto.
Just don't do anything stupid.
Ditto. I will. So far, so good.
Yeah, so far, so good. Ryan talked about, it was funny, he said he's been around the block a lot talking about collaboration and so forth. And, you see the collaboration here, but I've also seen the people trying to sink their talent into talent, and that talent is Ryan. So I'm telling you, this guy's going to go places, but
I appreciate that.
The shit show is now over. This is going to be a great episode. It's going to be.
You all need that.
Do it. The shit show. The shit show is over. This is going to be a great episode. And Jordan Long, Ryan Owens.
We ruined it.
Reagan Weiss,
Jordan Long. I love you both.
Thank you guys. See ya. That was a good one.
That's all, folks.